Hey everybody, ModelMan here, and I believe this is the second model to go into the surgery series. In this case, the bottom connectors are a little loose, and we'll look at them in a minute. So I want to fix that. One of the engines, it goes a little dim as well. This guy right there, sometimes it flickers out, sometimes not. And you can see there's a gap here. That's because I've already popped the hull open. Fortunately, when I did build this, I used super glue instead of model cement. Super glue doesn't bond to plastic as well as model cement. Model cement actually melts the plastic together. And had I done that, I would not now be able to pull this kit apart. And basically, to do that, all I did was start pressing in on the sides up here at the front and worked my way back, and everything just popped off nice and loose. And the other thing about this is that it is held together by a huge series of magnets. Wow, look at that rat's nest. Let me change focus to so we can back out and have a further look at this. Well, I think that's in focus. Oh yeah, look at that. So you can see initially I started wiring individual fiber optics all over the place, and then as time went on I just started trimming them off, maybe half an inch to an inch or so, and just put piles of LEDs all throughout the body so that the light would simply catch on the fiber ends, and it turns out to have worked really well. It gives a little different lighting brightness per each window. So that's a really nice touch that you wouldn't get if each of those was plugged into its own LED itself. I'm glad I gave myself a lot of room on the connecting wires here between the two hulls so you can take it apart. Definitely some good thinking on my part there. And so what we're going to do here is pull out that LED and replace it completely. And then on the bottom here, when I did this, I didn't really have access to proper power clips, so you can see here that I used a couple HO rail ties, which are electrically conductive, and the power connector itself is simply the little nips or whatever they're called that latch onto those. This connection has always been a little loose and fidgety, so I'm finally going to pull that out, and what I'm going to do is, rather than try and drill that whole area out, because if we look at it in here, if we can look at it in here, there's definitely a lot of noise going on. Yeah, so here's the yellow tube there, and there's the other rail. Those go straight down into this super glue baking soda mess I made down there, which worked good at the time, but it wasn't really totally all that innovative on my part. So what I'm going to do now is a trick I did on the Tholian Glow Enterprise, and I'm going to run the wires right down the middle of this tube and have it connect on the very far side of that to make things a lot easier. And while I'm at it, I am also going to update the power connector on the top here, so this will still be powerable through top or bottom depending on what the next owner wants to do with it. Next owner, I say? Yes, indeed. I do have one person I'm talking with now, and that's one main reason why I'm moving on this, but this is a model I was going to sell eventually anyway, I think, because I definitely want to build another one, so I got to make room for that. And I do have the Anagrand coming up this year, so this was definitely a good object lesson in that regard, and I'm looking forward to doing it again and doing it better. So it'll still be powerable and displayable on top and bottom. And where's that little piece? Here it is. So this little guy here, which hides in there when it's not in use, is actually the cover for that there. And I do have some magnets in there, so this just holds on really nice and tight. But with this port sealed up, I'm going to simply glue that on and paint over it. And like I said, the power is going to come through that guy there. And so with that, let's pop it back open and get some surgery going on. One thing, here's another nice thing I did, is that these connecting wires here are connected with these spring clips. So I'm simply going to pull that out. Well, how about I do this with two hands and not while I'm holding the camera? Well, there's one. That one's kind of stuck though. So let's do this right.